Thanks.
Questions here in front.
Hi, guys. I hope everyone can hear me. So, I have a question that more relates to Sean. Similar to David, thank you so much. Similar to David, I'm Al Jardine's songwriting partner, and we did a benefit concert once, and I lived a block from Sean in the West Village recently, about 10 years ago. And I sat them together, and for me as a fan, having a Lennon and a Beach Boy together, it's the closest thing you'll have to having the Beatles and the Beach Boys in your living room. And Sean asked Al Jardine, he said, I don't have a memory of my father. Tell me any stories that you have, because I've learned about him through other people. So my question for you is, after that terrible night of December 8th, have you since been part of that sharing what his dad was like? You know, because he asked Al, and there's a story I won't get into, to keep it short.
And by the way, forgive me for sucking on these lozenges. I've been doing back-to-back interviews having to do with the book. Hope everybody's okay.
Completely unrelated
And
to what's going on here.
It's a George Harrison fan.
So my throat is just parched from interviews, and that's why I'm sucking on these. It seems impolite. Sean only got to experience his father for 5 years. I spent more time with John than Sean did. So in the beginning, Sean asked me lots of questions. We're now at that point where, and haven't been for years, where he asks me about his dad. And one of the things that I do want you to keep in mind, that although Sean only had 5 years with his father, they were complete days, weeks, hours, and months. It's as if any one of us had spent 25 years receiving only our father's attention. So Sean was not deprived of the experiences that he retains. And he's gone on to be a very, very, very wise soul. Creative and brilliant. And the inspiration for me writing my book.
Has Sean read the book? Has Sean read the book?
To the best of my knowledge, Sean has enjoyed the book. To the best of my knowledge.
I think we want more than that. I think we want Sean to call you and tell you how much he loves the book.
Sean left me a text last night congratulating me about today, you know. And, you know, I try not to speak for other people. A moment ago, you had said that I was John and Yoko's best friend. And I know that's been picked up by the media. They never made that declaration. The declaration that I've made is they were my best friends. I try to be really straight about this stuff. There's a lot of deception in the world, especially these days. So I'm just trying to keep the story straight.
Appreciate it, but given what you'll read in the book about the 3 and 4 hour phone calls on a daily basis, one only has those phone calls with somebody who is pretty close to their best friend.
I think they like me a lot.
We'll accept your modesty. Was there one more question here? Yeah. One second. There's a
Hi,
mic.
Michael.
Mike.
Sir?
Boy, I don't need that. So, it's so great to see your beautiful face and to hear you talk about all this. Give me the mic.
It was so wonderful
to see you again. I haven't seen you in ages.
This is Michael DeBar, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Big round of applause, thank you. You know what I was thinking about was, when you were with John alone, did he ever talk to you about the breakup with the Beatles? What was his attitude towards? He must have talked about it.
He talked about it many times to me. He talked about his ongoing feelings about Sir Paul McCartney. I put all that in the book. And I wanted people to know what he shared. I call your attention to the last interview that I did with John on television, what people frequently call the walk on Malibu Beach, where I paused and I said, a lot of people, they just don't understand why the Beatles broke up. If you had one opportunity to explain that to them, what would you say? And he said to me, quote, it's on video, because we had all had enough. And maybe it had gone on too long. That's why the Beatles broke up.
Well, thank you so much for answering my question. This evening has been staggering.
It feels like a family. I mean, I see faces in this room that I recognize, and new faces as well. And, well, when you come up here to have the book signed, I just want to acknowledge you personally.
Everybody's going to kiss you, Elliot.
Lipstick all over.
It's one of these again.
Thank you. Are there any other questions out there? This gentleman in the beret? Lots of berets tonight.
Lots of berets and beards, yes.
Thank you for a really wonderful night and very intimate stories. This question's going to be a little bit out of left field. Ono Yoko is an extremely important artist in the world. Some people don't realize it. And she's connected to the grand, very rich tradition of avant-garde art, post-war avant-garde art in Japan, including dance and music, including her first husband. I wonder if she ever talked to you about that, about her art and the avant-garde tradition in Japan, especially considering you went to Japan with her.
No. I am, you know, when it comes to some of the avant-garde stuff and the Fluxus movement and the people who did these things, I was aware of Andy Warhol and Keith Haring, but these other characters, not so much. And she was not one to talk about her art. She always felt that what she presented should speak for itself. It certainly didn't need explanation. Yoko Ono's art is on display in some of the most famous museums around the world. And there have been books written devoted to her creativity, which I encourage you to look through. Brilliant, and I can't figure out much of it. Some of it I really do get, and it gives me a smile or pause for thought. I love the all-white chess set. No A and B. And a variety of other, the box of Smile, where you open this little box and you look inside and there's a mirror. And what do you do? And there are 100 other pieces that I do get. But some of it...
Elliot, given that things like Cut Piece, which was one of her most famous pieces, but on a very small stage, now her partner is John, and the Bed In for Peace, the notion of imagine, sounds very much like her. Did they talk to you about that? Did John say Yoko inspired Imagine?
He absolutely did. And there was a ceremony a number of years ago where, I don't know the exact phrase, where Yoko received a co-credit for that song. Yoko had put out a book many, many years ago called Grapefruit, which was a series of instructions, little inspirational aphorisms in the form of almost like Japanese haiku. And they were all uplifting and they were all funny. And they just encouraged you to imagine, look, we live in rather tense times right now, in case you haven't noticed. And we're all hanging on, hoping for a better world. Before we get the better world, we have to have a vision of that world that we are seeking. And before you can wish for it, you have to imagine it. Imagining is not just some kind of passive thing that you do before you fall asleep at night. It is a demonstrable act. And don't let anybody stand in the way of your imagination.
That is a spectacularly inspiring way for us to end the evening, because when you read the book, you will spend hours and hours in Elliot's imagination as he tells us the stories we always wanted to know. So thank you very much, Elliot Mintz.
No need to do that, really. If any of you choose to come up here and have me personalize your book, I'd be very, very happy to do so. And please also be aware of the fact that I have a microphone here.
So don't say anything incriminating. We're actually going to